Hello, vintage button people. It's Lindsay. I junk journal, I slow stitch, I craft sustainably, and we're having a little bit of a sit and stitch. So, this is, I'm going to give myself half an hour or under, and a little bit of slow stitching goes a long way when it comes to my mental health and my well-being. And I feel like, because I've been doing other craft, I haven't had time to just do sit and stitch. I've been quite focused on things, but I want to show you this bag that was supposed to be my summer handbag. We're now entering August, so yeah, it's not quite summer handbag. I think it'll be any time of the year, although I do have a specifically Christmassy one that's quite similar that's on the go as well. Okay, so this is a bird that I got out of a fabric sample book, like one of the pages in the fabric sample, and it was kind of like watercolour. It was kind of a bit like that, but it was quite dull. So it was all browns. It's beautiful, but it was quite dull. So I have used my wools, just wools from charity shops. Nothing like, just like little end bits. Let me get my bag of wools to show you. My bag of wool that I pull from. So just my wools. I've got my coloured cottons for things if I need to. It's got a lovely purple eye. All these beautiful colours and bits of doily just sort of popped in with little stitches, and his feet and everything, and he's just beautiful. So I've got a branch, and I've just started whip stitching it with a grey cotton, and that's what I'm going to carry on doing today. I do have loads of other little bits and pieces that we can sort of add to it, so there's like extra bits of, and I don't know where I'm going to put them. I think I might put them so they sort of wrap around, because I've got loads of bits like that. And I've also got these sort of applique bits that I took off a dress that I got from a charity shop that was just truly hideous, but the applique bits was worth it. So, when you go to your thrift stores and your charity shops for supplies, because that's where I get all my supplies from really, is kind of, I call it the wild. It's not your average craft store, and it's not bought online. And yeah, I can just sort of layer it on and give it an extra layer of texture. The bits from this dress. But that's not for now. Now, what we're going to do is just sit and stitch. Sit and stitch. And while away half an hour before I have to start work. So here we go. I'm just putting my hand in so that I can feel the other side. I'm just gonna get a good grasp on it. It's easy as anything because it's just a whip stitch. So a whip stitch, I'm going to take that out because I will stab myself with that pin. A whip stitch, or is it, do we call it a whip stitch? I think we do call it a whip stitch. I've always called it a whip stitch. But you're sort of just tacking it on. If you're from the UK and I'm using a different word than what we normally use, let me know in the comments. Now, some bits of this are going to be a bit tougher, but I've got a nice big needle. No rhyme or reason. I'm not an embroiderer. I'm not a cross stitcher. I just kind of sew simple things, put simple things together. I have very few stitches in my repertoire, and I find that I enjoy this type of creativity, kind of like freer, sort of not following a pattern, making my pattern up as I go along. Do you know I cook that way? I can't bake for toffee. I cannot bake anything. My daughter, who is quite creative, but she will follow a recipe. So she can bake. I can't bake. My bakes always go wrong. But I can make a good gravy. And I can make a good stew or anything like that, because I kind of just go with the taste, go with the flow. So I think we're kind of either one type of personality or not. Or perhaps we can learn. Perhaps I can learn to bake and use a recipe. Perhaps you can unlearn using an embroidery pattern or whatever. I'm sure you probably can. But this is just how I do it. So I'm just going to whip stitch around it. Eventually I will line this bag. I'm not sure where I've got quite a bit of this. I might do it in this so it's kind of cheerful inside, or I don't know, I'll just have to have a look in my stash. And then it'll become just a bag that I use when I'm going thrifting or anything like that, because it's a nice big roomy bag. I could even, if I knew the weather was going to be dry, I could put my work laptop in it and take it to work. That might be a nice thing to do. Just I need to know that it's not going to rain on the laptop, because obviously it's not going to be rainproof. So yeah, I really enjoyed making the bird, and I'm going to sort of do the same thing, add wools and buttons, things for the berries. And it's just one of a myriad of projects that I just have on the go. And I think, what do I want to do today? I keep them just like in a kind of, you know, food bag or other packaging that's left over from other stuff. I think, oh, that's a good project bag. I'll keep hold of that. And they're stashed in my craft room. And I pick them up and I think, right, I've got myself half an hour. And I've got half an hour before work, and I could be doing some hoovering and other boring things before work, but I thought, you know what, no, I'm going to take advantage. Sometimes I get up really early. We've just been to do videos, so I've just finishing Junk Journal July, where I was getting up quite early and making a video, like probably not even half awake really, just so that I could fit it in the day. And that's not this type of video. This type of video is I've got half an hour. I would like to do something. Now, normally I would do this sat on my sofa, and I would just be kind of sat on my sofa, having a cup of tea, having a stitch. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to switch the camera on and share, like, you know, that's how I do my craft, is sometimes it's squeezed in before work, but it doesn't mean it's not meaningful. In fact, it's like a little oasis of calm before the storm of the workday. In fact, I remember when, because I work remotely mostly, I kind of have a hybrid contract, so sometimes I'm in my office, but not very often, once a week. And a lot of the time I'm at home. But my previous job was completely location. The other ones have always been hybrid. But yeah, I kind of had to be in the location of it. And it was a big commute, especially when we moved house. It was a really long commute. And I used to find little pockets of calm and take just little bits of stitchery with me and go and sit somewhere quiet and stitch something. So it could be like I would stamp an image. I've got some little bees here. So I would take some little bees and just, I've dropped my bees. Just a needle and some black cotton and just sort of doodle stitch over them. Little straight stitches so that you have like a little embroidered bee element that you could put on other slow stitches. And I would think, well, I'm just going to do a wing and a leg, have a little break, hide here, have a moment, and then go and get on with it. I mean, some people have cigarette breaks. I would have just slow stitch breaks. So that's what I thought I would do. And then once I've kind of got this tacked on, I can start putting the pretty floofy stuff on and start planning on building up the texture, because that's what I really like about this piece is the texture, and I want that for the branches as well. So that's why all of this stuff will be really helpful in that. So it'll be a combination of like the floofy applique and the wools, and like I said, buttons for the berries. Just going to make something really nice, I think. I hope. I'm sure. There we go. Just keep going. It's just an in and out stitch. I'm actually amazed at what you could do in and out stitching, just like really simple stitches. You can make some truly amazing little things. And so we are going to I'm going to do a challenge in September called Slow Stitch September, and I'd love it if you subscribed and followed me along on that. There's going to be myself and Carol from Journal Eclectique, who is a Canadian junk journal YouTuber, and she wants to get into slow stitch. So I've created a project that we're going to do once a week throughout September, and at the end of it you will have a finished product. You will have something that is a 3D thing. It's a little bag, and you would have learned a few of the simple slow stitch stitches, and you would have something at the end of it. And it's not saying that I'm an expert, because I'm not, but I've been slow stitching since I was a kid. I've been making bits and pieces just for fun, just for creative outlet for decades, and I'm so glad, because I always felt like I was a bit weird like making little things. Always felt like I was a little bit weird, and now it's like an accepted mindfulness practice. It's an accepted form of creativity. It's seen as an art form, and I'm like, yay, finally I'm finding my people. So if you want to join on our slow stitch journey in September, get subscribed. Hit the little notification bell, because I'll be doing more posts about it. I might write a little post in my community thing. I'm quite new to YouTube. I've only been doing it a year really, and I'm just sort of finding my feet in how I do everything, and working out what I want to do and how I want to do it, where my boundaries are, what are the barriers and what can I do to get over it, all those types of things. It's kind of it's quite exciting really. I'm still in the excitement phase. So yeah, I'm learning all kinds of things. So I'll do a little post on the community thing, because I can do that now. And what I would love is if people started posting on my little community bit, show me your makes. If you're a junk journaler, I'd love to see your junk journal pages, or what you've done for Junk Journal July. So this is going to go out in August. We're very near the end of July, so it's going to go out next week really. Yeah, where there'll be a bit more of a balance of slow stitch and junk journaling. This is going to look so good. I'm quite excited about it. And it's been sat. I have a pile of things to one side of me here, and it's been sat there, and I've been like, oh, I just want to get into that. I want to finish it. And I'm not going to be perfect at it. I can see where, because I'm talking to you, I've made a bit of a thing. I'm not going to worry. I'll just keep stitching into it. It all looks fantastic at the end, just when you keep adding the layers. This is not a thing for accuracy. I guess you could still, and I don't want to not validate, if you're an embroiderer and your slow stitching is very slow and deliberate and careful, then that's great. It's just not in my personality. I'm not a fantastically detailed person, looking. Well, no, that's not true. I love looking at details, but I kind of, my brain doesn't pick up on details sometimes. And, I'm heading into my 50s. Well, I am 50. And so you kind of get to know yourself a little bit more and accept yourself, which is more important. And kind of I've realised that about myself. I'm not very detailed. I can see patterns, but I don't see details. Really weird. I think I probably am a bit neurodiverse. I think I'm a bit dyslexic. My dad was dyslexic, and my brothers are dyslexic, and I don't know my left from my right, so. But I think it comes with creativity and stuff. I think that's probably what helps, or enabled my creativity. I don't know. Not a neuroscientist, but I definitely think there's something to that. Things you think about when you're slow stitching. What do you think about? I love just to sort of let my mind wander. I think all kinds of crazy things when I'm slow stitching. And it's a kind of a way that you sort of can free your mind and kind of get your head into your hands. So you can process thoughts and feelings. Or you could just like not really think about anything. Think about the feeling of the needle going through and the thread coming through. The feeling of the cloth between your fingers. That's quite important. There's only certain materials that I feel I can tolerate. So I don't like sewing with a wool is alright, but holding something woolen, I can't do it. I see all these lovely woolen blanket pouches on the YouTubes and I'm like, oh, that looks so lush and I just can't. I have a fleecy blanket I work on every so often with a crazy thing. And I tolerate it for a certain amount of time and then I'm like, yeah, now I'm done. The sensation is over-sensationing me. So what are you like with fabric? Do you like the feeling of fabric? I like the feeling of some and not others. I'm the same with paper, to be honest. That's probably why I like junk journaling, is because it's a sensation thing where you can feel the paper. Wow, I thought this thread would go all the way, but it's not doing. I'm going to have to tie it off for this last little bit around the corner. But there we go, look at it. I like it a lot. And then once we start building up these leaves and things with the wools and other cottons, I think it's going to be good. Okay, now I'm not very professional how I'm going to tie this off. I'm just going to shove it through the other side. It's even into a pocket. Oh no, terrible. I'm not bothered. I think if I was making it for somebody else, I'd have a little bit more care, but I'm just making it for me and I'm making it for fun, so I really don't worry about it. I like to double knot. Then where's my snips? How much more have we got left? Not too much. How much time are we on? 17 minutes. Ooh, might be able to put a bit of wool on it. We'll see. So tell me about your slow stitching. Are you just a beginner? Do you like watching the videos, or do you do... Because I think watching creativity is just as valuable as being creative yourself. I'd encourage you to be creative yourself and experience it for yourself. But I know that sometimes I just need to watch. And sometimes I need to watch for a while before I'll actually pick it up. I mean, I learn by doing, but I also learn by observing. So I just sort of, do a mixture of the two. So let me know how you do yours. I've got a little bit of a thread there. I've just dropped my thread on the floor. I'm quite clumsy. I think that's a dyslexia thing as well as being clumsy. I don't know, it might not be. Those early morning thoughts. You kind of think thoughts in the, like, certain thoughts at the different times of day, don't you? I think there's definitely things I think about in the morning that they kind of wear off the thoughts later on in the day. And there's obviously thoughts that you keep at, thoughts you have in the night time sometimes keeps you up at night. I have an audio book that I listen to throughout the night and it kind of shuts off my inner monologue, which is particularly good for stressful times. So I listen to Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, which apparently is about to be trendy again. So we shall see. I don't know how functional these pockets would be for a bag, so I'm not too worried if I tack it a little bit shut. I might even tack it all the way shut, we'll see as we go on. Get rid of that. So it's got a strap that I made out of the legs of the trousers. So this was a pair of my husband's kind of chino work trousers that were a skinny fit, and obviously that's not, you know, it's not fashionable now. And he was like, I don't really want these. I never felt very comfortable in them. He only goes to his office 2 days a week, so I was like, well, put them in the charity bag. We have a charity bag in our airing cupboard where the boiler and stuff is. I think that's very much a British thing, an airing cupboard. And I just go digging in there to get my slow stitch supplies. So I get the pretty bits from a variety of places, like charity shops. Like I said, chopping up dresses I find in the charity shop. I've got quite a selection, I'm running out of my quite a selection of fabric samples from like an interior designer. I need to find another source of those. But I am very wary of filling my house up, because I could fill my house up with craft supplies. I don't tend to buy new things, certainly not for slow stitch. I don't think I've ever bought anything new for my slow stitch. No, I just find they're just sort of acquired supplies. I don't think I might have bought some needles. That might have been it. Like my cottons and everything, they're all oldie worldy. That I'm using a Gutterman, but I don't know where I got that from. But they're sort of these types of things, like old, just from charity shops, or people give them to me once they learn that, oh, you like that type of stuff, because like I said, I think I'm a bit weird. I get given things, but charity shop finds. I've recently, I hit the button mother load. There's a video about it. I don't know when it's going to go out. I think it will go out before this video, so you would have seen it. Like a whole little plastic cabinet. Well, I say a little, it's actually quite a big plastic cabinet. And I have been looking at it for months. I was like, no, I have this rule. I have to know where I'm going to put something before I bring it into my house. And I was like, I just do not have anywhere to put that cabinet. I want all those buttons, but I have nowhere to put that cabinet. And I would keep going in this charity shop, and I would keep looking at it. And I don't think anybody else was ever going to buy it, because it was literally months. And then eventually, a couple of weeks back, I said to Miles, I want to go to the Nexus charity shop, and if the buttons are there, I'm going to buy it. And he's like, but what about, like, where are you going to put it? And I said, well, I have a theory about my capacity to store buttons, that I can sort of spread them out in all my jars. And he was like, okay. And I thought, well, I'm going to try. And so I did. And actually, with the help of a very big sweet jar that I actually got from that same charity shop that was half filled with buttons, I managed to spread out this button stash. But I had lots of fun looking at it. With the help of a few jam jars out of the recycling, I managed to kind of really spread it out. It was so exciting. And so now I have loads of buttons. I have buttons for centuries. Can't guarantee that I won't buy any more buttons, but I know my capacity, my saturation point is near. So I don't know what I'm going to do, because when I see something, I feel like I have to rescue it. So I don't know. Right, where are we up to? 24 minutes. Do we have a go at some wool? Do we have a think about the wool? Let's get the wool out and choose some colours. Shall we do that in that last 5 minutes? It's looking good though. I will have some buttons, and we can put the buttons on. So we need some like brown wool. We might need to go looking for some wools if we've not quite got everything we need. So I use that wool. Excuse me for banging you. Use that wool and a grey wool. let's pick some colours for the leaves. I think if we start with the leaves, I can always make a plan for the branches. I can even have a look for some fabric. So we've got some pale, some brights. Oh, I like that colour. The leaves. It's amazing when you go and you get these little bags full. Well, this is a couple of bags full of wool. That's quite a good colour, but it's very similar. Oop, what's happening here? It's all along the ball. It's very similar to the background colour. That's a good wool too. That's a good colour. You get all of these colourful wools, and they're just sort of odds and ends, I think, from different people's projects. And they might even have been donated all by different people, and the shop just decides, oh, we're just going to put them in a bag and sell them off. So they were just in a carrier bag. I found this other bag to store them in. I could spend 5 minutes doing that, and I don't want to, so we'll just put that off the end. And then I can have a think. I think we've got all of the, we don't need the purples yet. Could, oh, see, now we do have some different browns. They're different browns. They could be branches. All right then. So when you've got time to do like a little sitting stitch, it could be a big project like this, or I do like, I'll stamp onto some fabric, and I might think, because look, you can see I've got half an hour there. I might have even done this on a video where you just sort of do a bit of something, and then these can be snipped up and added onto various things. That's what I'll use my last 3 minutes on. So if you think, that at one point was one of these types of stamps, and I think I did that in that location job that I said, where I would just do something little. I would go and find 10 minutes, just do 10 minutes stitching. Oh, soothes your nervous system right down. So we will do more of these. I like doing these, kind of like little scrolls with meaningful words on. But here we go. I've did a little bit of tacking down, made my project move forward, had half an hour chatting to you. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to pick up a needle and thread, even if you've got a short amount of time, and just do a little bit, because every little bit, it all adds up, and it makes, you can, that's how you finish your projects. That's how you relax, really. It's how I relax. All right then, everyone. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.